Hello. What we're going to do this morning is show you a real live demo of a failover on a scale cluster. So we have three nodes here, which you can see. They're actually the HE150 Intel Enterprise NUCs. Um, and I'm often asked in demos to do a failover demonstration. And so I thought this morning, uh, to, to save me having to do it over and over again live, I'd record one and let people see that. So I'm just going to start the clock now. Um, I expect this process to normally take about 3 minutes. Um, and so what you can't see in the background now is I'm reaching over to the power socket and I'm pulling out the plug to node one, which in my case is this node on the left, 121. And as you can see, we've got two VMs running on it, both using 8 gig of RAM and 4 cores CPU. Actually, they're both Windows machines, but you know that doesn't particularly matter. And as you can see, we've got three nodes in the cluster, all of which are set up exactly the same. We've got 2 terabyte NVMe disks with 4 cores, a 4 core CPU, and 32 gig of RAM. Um, and you can see from the dashboard at the top, we're running reasonably low in terms of utilization, other than RAM. As you can see now, we're sort of 1 minute in, and the cluster has noticed that something's wrong with that data replication piece, and so it's reporting out. Haven't actually configured this. The reason you can see an alert up here is I haven't actually configured alerts to go to my inbox, so my inbox is not going to get flooded today. But yeah, already it can see it's not replicating that data. So any data that's written from these two VMs is also written onto the other two nodes, which makes sure that in the case of a failure, we're not losing any of that data. Um, it's currently in the background doing kind of checks against whether it can see that node on both the front end network, the LAN network, and the data network. Um, and very shortly, it'll tell us that that's likely to be happening. Um, it's worth saying as well, this what you're looking at the moment is the console. The console effectively runs on all three machines independently, so I could have logged on to any of these. You can see now it's now giving me warnings and notice. Definitely, it knows now that that node's offline, and the two VMs it knows are offline. Um, so what it's going to do now is, while it's running background checks, is automatically now spin those up on the two hosts. So we're now, 2 minutes 40 in. Um, Obviously now you're seeing high IOPS, and we're about to see some high CPU as well, and that's because those VMs are starting up on those new hosts. It's automatically placed them on the correct host that has enough resource to run that. Uh, and as I said, this is all hands off. I'm not doing anything magical in the background other than pulling the power. Um, this is happening all just under the jurisdiction of the cluster management itself. Um, so those CPUs and IOPS now have dropped quite heavily, which kind of indicates that those VMs are now back online. Um, and so that's it. In less than 3.5 minutes, we've kind of simulated a failure, and those VMs have moved from the original host and spun up automatically on the two remaining hosts on the cluster. And I'll post a video showing the recovery. It's exactly the same as you'd expect. Effectively, the host comes back in, is added back into the cluster, and the VMs will be moved back. You can see at the moment it's got an insufficient memory warning, and that's to state that effectively if you lose a node, it hasn't got enough left. You can see now we're at 43% RAM usage, still low on the IOPS and CPU. I hope that's been useful, and give us a shout. We have a test rig we can come and deliver for your organization that you can try out on your site, on your network with your data. And see quite how powerful this system is.